Hey guys, I'm so excited to introduce my next guest. It's Catharine Arnston, and she is the founder and CEO of Energybits. And today we're talking all about algae and how it will give you better health and better energy. So welcome.
Well, thank you for having me.
So Catharine, talk a little bit. First question I want you to answer is, first of all, what is algae and what are the different types of algae?
Sure. Great question, because I never thought I'd become an algae expert, and it's taken me 10 years to acquire all this knowledge, so I'm eager to share. So I'm going to try to break it down into some really simple, basic facts. So first of all, algae is a food. A lot of people seem to think that it's a supplement because it's packaged that way, so it's not your fault. It looks like a pill, which it's not, and it looks like it's made in a manufacturing plant, which it's not. Algae is no different than kale or broccoli or tomatoes, for that matter, except that it is 1,000 times more nutrient dense. And so that's why it's considered what I call efficient nutrition. So if you consider fruits and vegetables as food categories, so algae is its own category. And then that breaks down into two main subcategories. If we take the analogy of fruits, for example, you have bananas and apples as two types of fruits. Well, you have two types of algae. The main one is considered seaweed or kelp, and it's grown in the ocean, and the other one is microalgae. And then if you take the apple analogy, you have different types of apples. You have Granny Smith and you have, Delicious. Well, you also have different types of microalgae, and that's what we are involved with. We're involved with the microalgae area, and they break into green and blue-green. And within those two, you have Spirulina, which is a blue-green, and Chlorella, which is a green. So to summarize, algae is a food, and it's grown as a crop. The two that we sell are grown as a crop in hydroponically, which means it's grown in water. And then all we do is we air dry it, so the enzymes are still intact, and then we press the water out of it into little tablets. So they're like a dried vegetable. It's basically all it is a dried vegetable, except for the fact that it's the most nutrient-dense food in the world, can be a replacement for many of your supplements, which can be a replacement for snacks, can be a replacement for energy drinks, sports nutrition, and I'll walk you through why they can be a replacement, and they are quite different. So when we're talking about fatigue, for example, the one that you want that will help with fatigue is spirulina, and it's a blue-green algae. And the reason why it will help you with fatigue is, there's about 20 or 30 that I know of, and there's probably about 30 more that I don't know about. But the main ones are, first of all, spirulina algae has the highest concentration of protein in the world. And all the protein is already in amino acid form, so your body has access to it immediately. In comparison, when you eat animal protein, it can take up to 3 days for your body to break down the protein into amino acids, and most times you don't absorb all of that, so you end up with about 10% of it, and so you don't get access to all the aminos. More importantly, the aminos are not important. More importantly, but there are 3 times the amount of protein in spirulina as there is animal protein. So that's why I call it efficient nutrition. You get 3 times the amount of protein, and it's plant-based protein, and it gets absorbed into your body right away. Now, the reason why it gets absorbed so quickly is that spirulina is technically a bacteria. It does not have a cellulose wall. So that's why athletes, when we first started almost 10 years ago, athletes were our biggest first customer, triathletes, marathon runners, Olympic athletes, because it gave them the energy, they got all the protein, and it got into their bloodstream quickly without upsetting their stomach because there was no chemicals, caffeine, or sugar. So very energizing because of the high concentration of amino acids. But connected to the amino acids are the fact that it's very high in B vitamins. If you've ever seen any energy drinks, you'll see that they're loaded with B vitamins. B vitamins are what convert glucose into energy. And because there's all these B vitamins, including B12 and all this protein, and because spirulina is what's called a vasodilator. It helps your body release nitric oxide. And what that does is it relaxes smooth muscles like in your blood vessels so that oxygen and other nutrients can get to your brain and to your body. And so that helps reduce fatigue. And all this happens almost instantly. So I don't know if most people realize this, but your digestion process takes up about 15% of your energy. So if you have no digestion required and you get all these B vitamins and you get the vasodilator and you get all the aminos, and it also has a very high amount of iron, which carries oxygen in your blood. So now you're getting oxygen, you're getting aminos, you're getting it all quickly and easily, and you have essential fatty acids like omega-3. This all works beautifully and harmoniously to give your body and your brain energy. Other things in terms of brain health, brain energy, while we're talking about it, is spirulina has boron in it. Boron is required to help with the synapses and the telomeres, and that's so it facilitates decision making and speed of thought and coordination. And of course, we all want to be better coordinated. So that's why we called our spirulina Energybits, because it gives you energy, and it's been known for that for years, and it's also been known for its high protein for years. Back in 1974, the United Nations had a global summit on spirulina and declared it the answer to world hunger because it had so much protein in it, as well as these 40 other vitamins and minerals. So, and an interesting little side note is that spirulina algae was the first life on Earth. Almost 4 billion years ago, and they have fossils to prove that. So I tell people, man, there's got to be something special. It was the first life on Earth, and it's still here like 4 billion years later. So that's very energizing to me.
Hey guys, I don't know about you, but if you are just feeling so tired throughout the day and just feeling restless at night, then I want you to try something called Energybits. Each package has spirulina or chlorella algae. They're plant-based and they have 0 sugar, 40 nutrients, 5 grams of protein. And so you are going to feel great taking them. So go to energybits.com and then you'll get 20% off if you put the promo code Chantel. That's CHANTEL. Okay, so how much algae do you take in a day yourself personally? And how fast does it start giving you energy? So like when you take it, is it like, okay, I'm going to take it 30 minutes later, I'm going to have energy, an hour later, or how does that work?
Well, it's different for the different algae. So what I'll do first is just quickly summarize the other algae, because we spoke extensively about spirulina. The other algae is Chlorella, and the speed of access, the effects you feel, the timing is completely different for the two of them. So spirulina, blue-green algae that gives you energy. Chlorella is technically a plant, and it's a green algae, and it's a wellness health algae, because what it does is it builds your immune system and pulls out toxins. Now, the way it does that is because chlorella has the highest concentration of chlorophyll in the world. It has 25 times more chlorophyll than even liquid chlorophyll, and 250 times more chlorophyll than spinach. Your mother's always, and even still us, we tell everybody to eat their greens or drink their green juices. And it's the chlorophyll that's the most important nutrient in all those greens, because chlorophyll is a fat-based nutrient that heals your cell walls. And so what it does, and you've always heard about greens being cleansing, the cleansing aspect comes because by healing the cell walls, nutrients can get in and toxins can get out, and that protects your mitochondria. And when your mitochondria are functioning and are healthy, that gives you energy. So the chlorella gives you energy because of the high chlorophyll, but it's a longer term kind of energy. And Energybits and spirulina are your fast shot at getting energy within the next 15, 20 minutes. Chlorella, because of the chlorophyll, that's a long-term, slow build, make sure that your body and your cells are getting the nutrients so that the ATP is functioning, very well on a long-term basis. The other thing about chlorella is that it has the hardest cellulose wall in the plant kingdom. Remember I said spirulina has no cellulose wall, which is why it gets absorbed so quickly. Chlorella, in contrast, has the hardest. So hard it has to be cracked to production, and we can talk about that another time. But what that means is that hard cell wall, what it does is it attaches to toxins. It pulls out any kind of heavy metals, lead, mercury, lactic acid. So athletes use it after a workout to pull out lactic acid, aluminum, any kind of metals that shouldn't be there. It's not like activated charcoal, which pulls out all minerals. Chlorella only pulls out the heavy metals and toxins, pesticides, doesn't matter what it is. We work with biological dentists who use it to pull out extra mercury. They use it at Chernobyl, Hiroshima, Fukushima to pull out radiation. And the reason why it affects your energy levels is because as toxins build up in your brain, in your organs, in your cells, they interfere with the correct functioning of your body, and your homeostasis starts to deteriorate, and your ATP production starts to deteriorate, and your mitochondria start to deteriorate. And that it's a slippery slope that leads eventually into any kind of illness. So the way to prevent all that, if you sort of reverse engineer, is you want to get rid of the toxins so that you won't start having that slow deterioration of energy with age. It's not necessary, but it happens because as we age, the toxic load just keeps building and building and building. We're surrounded by toxins. I have a chart that shows there's 280 chemicals that have been released into our world since the World War II, and like 200 of them have been tested by the FDA. So in the air, in our food, in our clothes, we're surrounded by toxins. And if you don't pull them out, they will start to slowly eat away at your cellular structure, your health, and your energy. The only other thing that chlorella does is that it rebuilds your cells because it has the highest concentration of RNA and DNA in the world, and also has the highest concentration of something called chlorella growth factor, which speeds up the growth of your cells. So this, of course, as you age, your RNA and DNA are damaged, and as they replicate, they replicate in a damaged form, and of course that causes your body to behave not as efficiently, and so that starts to cause you to slow down. So they're quite different. So we call our chlorella recovery bits. Here's actually a picture of the package compared to our Energybits. Here's Energybits, which is the spirulina. Chlorella is something everybody in the world should be taking because we're so surrounded by toxins, but it's a slow, steady way to improve your health and your energy. It takes a longer time to get into your body because it has that hard cellulose wall. So it takes about an hour and a half. By the way, one of the toxins it pulls out is alcohol. So if you take it after you drink alcohol, within an hour and a half, you're stone sober and you will never have a hangover. But it takes that hour and a half to get absorbed into your bloodstream. It will pull out toxins of any kind in your bloodstream in an hour and a half. It will take about 7 to 10 days to pull toxins out of your cellular structure, and anywhere up to 4 to 6 months to pull them out of your organs. And the reason why it takes longer is because of the density of the cellular structure. In contrast, Energybits and spirulina will get into your bloodstream almost instantly if you chew them, within 5 or 10 minutes if you swallow them. So you'll notice that your fatigue is lower, your mental focus is better within 10 or 15 minutes. Now, it's not a lightning bolt from the sky because there's no stimulants, there's no caffeine, chemicals, or sugar. It's from nutrition. It's from those 40 vitamins and minerals, all that amino acids, the vasodilation, the iron that carries the oxygen, and the B vitamins. That's what's giving you energy on a short term. And that's why people usually take spirulina in the morning when they get up, or maybe as a snack in the afternoon, or 4 o'clock when your blood sugar drops. And there's no limit. If you ask me how much I take, there's no limit to how much you could take because it's food. And the way I explain this is, well, you can't have too much salad. I mean, I don't know anybody ever has had too much broccoli. So it's really almost impossible to have too much, although I will point out that it is the most nutrient-dense food in the world. In fact, we have a quote from NASA that says 1 kilogram of algae equals the 1,000 kilograms of fruits and vegetables. So we created a little diagram that shows that 1 bag of our algae tablets, there's 1,000 tablets, equals the nutrition of over 500 pounds of fruits and vegetables. So on a ounce by ounce basis, there's nothing in the world that will give you more nutrition. So even if you take 3 or 4 of these tablets every day, that's probably more nutrition than you're getting in an entire week of from other food. So it's very, very efficient nutrition. I personally have about 100 tablets of chlorella every day because I love the chlorella. I love the taste of it. Most people swallow spirulina because it's very chewy because of the very high protein. Remember, I said it's 64% protein, which is 3 times the amount of steak. And it's very high in essential fatty acids, which is really important for your brain. But that makes it really chewy and people don't like the flavor. So they very often swallow the spirulina, although it's completely chewable. And the chlorella, which has lower protein, it tastes more like a soy nut or a sunflower seed. And it's delicious when you put sea salt, or macadamia nuts with it. And so now it becomes not just a healthy snack, it's a healing snack. Naturally, you can swallow it if you don't like the flavor, but every single person I've ever given chlorella to and mixed it with almonds or macadamia nuts, they are stunned at how good it tastes. And that way, you start to truly understand that it's a food, it's a snack. And yet it is a replacement for so many other things. You'll find you'll buy fewer groceries, you'll be less hungry, you'll be less fatigued. And most people take the chlorella at night because their body goes through a detox when they're sleeping anyways. And as you may or may not know, your brain has its own lymphatic type of system. And as you're sleeping, the brain shrinks so that the lymphatic system, it's sort of like a street washer. It washes all the toxins out of your brain when you're sleeping. So by the fact that you have chlorella in your system while you're sleeping, it will facilitate the removal of those toxins from your brain. And they're finding that Alzheimer's is partly a result of aluminum, which has been placed there because of glyphosate, and that can be, you can get rid of that with the chlorella. Or you've got too much calcium. They're finding that calcium can contribute to Alzheimer's. Chlorella you need vitamin K2 to pull out excess calcium from your brain and from your soft tissue, and chlorella has that as well. So it's very great to take at night, but again, you could take it any time of day with food instead of food. I have it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I have it as snacks. I eat a lot of it, and it also helps with your skin and your hair health. So spirulina, very energizing, gets into your system very quickly. You'll notice immediately, but know that it's a quiet energy. It's not like a Red Bull. You'll just notice that you're not hungry, you're not fatigued, and that you're thinking better. And for chlorella, it will take you a longer time because it's a preventative, we call it recovery bits, because you help recover from anything, or it helps you prevent getting sick. But you will notice if you take it after a workout or after drinking, and you'll just feel it's like giving your body a shower from the inside, but it will take longer for you to notice the effects. But spirulina, you will notice right away.
Hey guys, I want you to know what I've been doing for my health that is absolutely transforming it. I'm taking massive amounts of vitamin C. Now, it's not just the regular vitamin C. This is 100% natural, and it only contains natural sources, whole foods like amla berry, camu berry, cherry. So it's literally just ground up fruits and massive amounts, and it delivers 750% of your daily recommended vitamin C. So I literally double it, and I have just seen so many benefits. So go to chantelrayway.com/vitamin C to get yours today. So where is the spirulina found and where is the chlorella found? I heard that spirulina is found kind of near volcanoes and that chlorella is mostly found in like Japan or Taiwan. Is that true?
No, it's so wrong, man. This is why I'm so glad I get invited to be on podcasts, because there's so much wrong information on the internet. So here's the situation. Remember I said algae breaks into, seaweed/kelp and microalgae. Okay, both of those types of algae exist everywhere. Obviously, kelp and seaweed grow in the sea, but so does microalgae. Microalgae grows in the oceans, it grows in lakes, it grows in your swimming pool, it grows in swamps, it grows in your aquarium, it grows in earth. It's all around the world. There's about 60,000 strains of algae all over the world. However, the only two that you should be eating are the two I spoke about, spirulina and chlorella, because they are cultivated as crops. They're grown in fresh water in very large I call them tanks, but they're not really tanks. It's a, a structure. So they're very long and narrow for spirulina, and they're round for chlorella. It doesn't really matter. They're almost all spirulina and chlorella grows in Asia. So you were correct in that. And the reason for that is because Japan is the one that learned how to grow chlorella back in the 50s for mass consumption. But chlorella and spirulina can be grown anywhere where you have constant heat and sunshine and a safe source of clean water. We grow ours in Taiwan, outdoors, in triple filtered spring mountain water. It takes about a month to grow, then about a month to dry it, air dry it, and then press the water out of it. And then we import it from Taiwan in bulk, and we package them here in the United States. But and I know there's some algae, spirulina and chlorella, being grown in France. There's a little bit in Poland, actually not Poland, Greece. They've been using it in Mexico and Africa for hundreds and hundreds of years. They just grow it wild. But you don't ever want algae wild, because algae absorbs whatever's in the water. So if there are toxins in the water, and I'm sure some of your listeners will go online after this and they'll Google spirulina or chlorella and they'll find toxins. Yes, if they're grown wild. It's just like if you went to a swamp, would you take a glass of water and drink that from a swamp? No. Does that mean water is bad for you? No, it means that the swamp water is bad for you. But water, clean water, is good for you. Same thing with algae. If algae is grown in a lake or an ocean, don't eat it because it will be poisonous. You must only eat chlorella and spirulina when they are harvested as food crops. And it's grown in Japan, China, Taiwan, India. There's a little bit in Hawaii, but nobody spends as much time on quality control as we do, because the only thing we sell is algae. All those other places that grow it are sold. The algae tablets are part of another wider selection of products. They might sell calcium, they might sell multivitamins. And when you don't spend as much time on the quality control, the quality of the product deteriorates. There could be heavy metals in there. They're not doing third-party lab tests like we do. We are experts on algae. The only thing we sell, and I started it because my sister had breast cancer 10 years ago, and her oncologist told her to change her diet to an alkaline diet. So I helped her figure out what that was, and along the way I discovered algae. So I started the company to help my sister heal from breast cancer. So my integrity and everything that we do here is undisputable. And that's why we're the only algae company endorsed and sold by doctors, nutritionists. We're endorsed by Olympic athletes because of the quality and the purity. So algae does grow everywhere in the world, in oceans and lakes and streams and swamps, but you never, ever want to eat that. You have to eat it from a trusted source. And we are proud that we are a trusted source for many people.
Hey guys, I have some exciting news. You can now, on your podcast app, download the Waste Away book. And here's what it is. You will literally get to listen to this on audio. We just had a girl that said she had listened to the book on audio 3 times. She lost a little bit of weight when she read the book. After she listened to the book 3 times, she ended up losing an additional 20 pounds. So if you do it, you can just listen to your podcast app. It's just $5. Check the show notes and get it now. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being on our show today. Tell listeners where they can find you and where they can follow you.
Sure. Well, we sell our algae tablets in large bags. The bags are $120, but we have a 20% discount code for anyone to use. The discount code is Chantel, no surprise. And it works on all of our products. We have 2 spirulina. One is called Energybits that I discussed. And we also have a second one called Beauty Bits, because that also builds your skin and hair health, but they're both spirulina. Chlorella is called Recovery Bits, and then we have a blended one called Vitality Bits. So come to energybits.com. Now, if you're not ready for a large bag yet, you can also go to Amazon and buy single servings. They're $4 each to just try it out if you want. And we also sell them through doctors and nutritionists, and you can find those listed on our website. And we're very active on social. So come and visit us at Energybits on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. And we also have a handle at Beautybits, but most of the action's on Energybits. But energybits.com is where we sell the large bags, and Chantel will give you 20% off at the shopping cart when you check out. So yeah, we'd love to see you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being with us today. This has been so amazing. And if you have a question that you want answered, go to questions@chantelrayway.com. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Sempronto Media Production.